Hello, welcome in. We are on our way to an adventure. Super exciting. We are currently in Spanish Fork and we are en route to Ouray, Colorado. We're going to do some of the Alpine Loop and quite possibly Black Bear and Imogene Pass. So far we're off to a good start. Jeep is running great, which is a welcome relief, way better than our last trip. A couple things that I haven't filmed that I've just kind of fixed. On our last trip, we went down to St. George, Utah, which was about a 6-hour drive. And the Jeep had started kind of like sputtering even before we left, but we went anyway. Towed a trailer with some RVs on it, and we made it down there. It gave us some trouble down there. We were questioning whether we would get home. It did get us home, and really what I want to say is either by the grace of the Almighty or just dumb luck or something, the Jeep has always gotten us home. A couple times it has broken in the driveway returning from the trips. On this last one, it did get us home. In fact, it got better the closer we got to home. But then our next time we drove it, we took it to the in-laws, which is about 20 minutes away, and didn't quite make it back. Brother-in-law had to come tow us the last little bit. I overhauled the entire fuel system. New gas tank, new filter, new pump, everything fuel related, because the impression was that it was a fuel delivery issue. Well, that didn't solve it. So then I heard it could be a battery. So I replaced the battery. Mild improvement, but still probably not the problem. Then I heard that it could be the ignition coil or the ignition control module. I replaced the ignition coil first, and that did make a difference. It didn't solve the problem, but it did make a big difference. It's probably 70% better, I would say. I replaced the control module. Not really any difference from there. And then one day it just quit starting. And that's a problem I've experienced before and was suspicious it was my crankshaft position sensor. I replaced that. The Jeep's been running great ever since. This is our first big trip with all those things replaced. Just gonna keep trucking down the freeway. So we're working our way towards Price. Getting pretty close. Just wanted to note that we've passed a couple trails that I've heard about that I want to come explore. The Skyline Trail just outside of Spanish Fork, and there was another one we saw, I don't know, 15 miles or so past that went off to the left. On another adventure, we'll come down and explore those. I've heard really good things about the Skyline Trail. We are coming down the home stretch as far as pavement travel goes. A lot of what we've driven through so far in southern Utah and Colorado has been really dry and bare, and so I am super excited to spend the next day and a half, 2 days in those mountains. Got granite and snow and just everything beautiful. We should be there to the trailhead in less than an hour. We'll bring you back in when we've got something interesting to show. Tunnel. We are on the $1 Million Highway. What a road. This thing is really intriguing. There's a waterfall up here that I remember. I'll stop and get some footage of that was really cool. This is akin to places in Switzerland I have visited. So their description is accurate. Absolutely gorgeous. River, creek running down. This isn't even the big waterfall. Bear Creek Falls is what this is called. Quite impressive. Some gorgeous scenery. I don't think the camera is going to do it justice. We have made it to the trailhead, the infamous Black Bear Pass. This is our camp spot. This is where we had the fire, and then the tent was back around those trees. So we woke up primarily to this view right here, which is absolutely gorgeous. And here's the trail we're taking. Are packed up from our night stay. We are on the Black Bear Pass Trail. Let's go try Black Bear Pass. So we just talked to some people who've said that the gate is down for Black Bear. It's not open yet, which I kind of suspected because there's been very minimal traffic through here this morning, and I would think if it was open, the traffic would be pretty consistent with big overlanding vehicles. So missed it again. Kind of a bummer, but how it goes sometimes. There is a ranger station or something around that you can call to get those kind of updates. And I guess I need to do that before I come down again if that is my primary objective. In the meantime, I guess we'll go drive this other trail that we found yesterday, see where it goes, and we'll just do some exploring. Pushing 20 degrees.
Recording.
Alright, this is one of the steepest hills I think I've ever climbed with Jarvis. We are already at almost 20, and we gotta go on up. But he did it yesterday. I think I filmed coming down. We're at low range. Here, this is one steep spot. I want a little bit of momentum. Roll over. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah. No loss of traction. He's just climbing right up. We got over 20 on that, didn't we, hon?
I think so.
Yeah. Woo. Yes. That is the type of stuff that led my nephew to claim Jarvis is a very capable vehicle.
There's two there.
Alright, so this is the
It was this one right here.
kind of fork in the road.
We went up there yesterday.
And go up there, which some regular like passenger cars came out of there. Have SUVs, all-wheel drive type. But we think we're going to go down. But you can see the road right down there. And I can see the $1 Million Highway just to the left. I'm sure it connects down there somewhere. And then we'll head into Silverton to fuel up. We are on the east side of the Black Bear Pass Trail, $1 Million Highway across from Black Bear Pass. We found this cool abandoned mine. Checking it out a little bit. So we have a plan. It'll probably take us the rest of the day. We are headed northeast out of Silverton. We're headed for the ghost town, mining ghost town, which is pretty cool. We'll stop there for a few minutes, and then we will take Cinnamon Pass over to Lake City. I haven't done that yet. That'll be new. And from Lake City, we'll come back on Engineer Pass. And probably on that route, we will be looking for a place to camp. And that'll be a good portion of the Alpine Loop. We are at Anamas Forks. Finally got the name right. And yeah, gonna walk and go check out some of these abandoned houses. Pretty nice area, really nice and cool. It's great. We walked through the buildings. My wife and I are house shopping, so we were very critical of the layouts. Some of them are pretty good, some of them a little on the small side. That said, where we live, even the smallest one's probably going for close to 200,000 these days. But it's really nice and temperate out here. And now they've got some tables here. We're just set up for a picnic. We're doing PB&J on rolls. And we also stopped and talked to, there's like a forestry service station set up here. They gave us a free map which outlines the loop and the main trails really well. Had a nice little chat, and I like to support those organizations when I can. They did have a donation bin, so I put a couple singles in that I had, and he said that was his first donation of the day. It's like 1 o'clock. So if you come to Anamas Forks, we encourage you to support the agencies that help keep these places open. So bring a couple bucks with you, throw them in there. With that, I'm going to eat. We are about ready to get back on the trail, but first, for the first time ever, I'm going to air down, go with less air pressure in my tires. I have this deflate kit. Got these 4 things that I have calibrated to air down to 20 psi. I don't want to go any lower than that because I don't have bead locks, and since I finally have a way to inflate my tires back up, that's why this is the first time. And since I have done most of this trail with fully inflated tires, this is a really good comparison to judge how well they affect the ride. So you calibrate these by twisting this valve in or out, and that adjusts where the valve closes based on pressure. That means you want to be careful not to twist this part as you're going, or you'll throw off your calibration. So you got to twist with this end down here. Conveniently, I've got 4 of them, 1 for each tire. And there it goes. Now I can do the other 3 and kind of do them all at the same time till they stop. So we're back to the first one. It's been going the longest. Definitely see the squish we're getting. That's supposed to soften the ride and give better traction. Traction hasn't been a problem, but a cushier ride could be nice, because on some of these rocks it can jostle you around a little bit. So I'll let you know what I think after some test trial. Here's the map we got from the Forest Service, which is really a good general map. We are right here at Anamas Forks. And just heading out, we are going to go take Cinnamon Pass, which is this bottom one here, over and up to Lake City, and then here is Engineer Pass, which we are planning to bring back. We'll see. So I've done on a previous trip a lot of stuff in this area here. Probably this Mineral Creek is what I did. It's just outside of Ouray. This is going to be all new territory to me. Should be a fun trip, and we'll show you the notable stuff along the way. And here we split. We haven't been driving very long, maybe a mile out of Anamas Forks. And I will say I personally notice a huge difference with deflating the tires. It is a much softer ride. I don't know about the traction, but it is a much softer ride. There's a couple of rocks we've gone over in particular that would have normally kind of jostled us to one side or the other that were much, much softer. Secondly, we're reading a little bit of history of some of this area, and one of the things that came up is that the stagecoach used to run these lines connecting Lake City and Silverton and Ouray. And driving on these, I'm just fascinated by bringing a stagecoach over this type of terrain. Those must have been some very vigilant horses, and I imagine that there were broken wheels commonly along the trail. Probably have to be fixed on the spot. Anyway, it's just an interesting thought. Look at what we're kind of going through here. We are officially on Cinnamon Pass, and I'm pretty sure I see trail up by the snow lines up there. And yep, it's going to be quite the drive. Here's a pretty good little obstacle. We're already at 15 degrees, and now climbing. It's blowing. It's blowing good right here. Woo! Can you imagine the fortitude it'd take to build at 12,000 feet? Man. We have just passed through the adequately described sleepy town of Lake City. One observation about Lake City is we have a book that we're reading some history on all these old mining towns. It's been very interesting. It described that in Lake City you can still see a lot of the old buildings. The original courthouse is still the one that they use. And we saw some of those, but the main street that you drive down coming out of Cinnamon Pass is not where most of those old buildings are. They are one block to the, probably to the west. That's where we saw a lot of the older, more original ones. So with that, they had the turn marked for Engineer Pass. We got a cute picture I'll insert here, and you can see we are back on the Alpine. Cinnamon Pass was described as being a 4 to 6 hour drive, and I will say that caught me a little bit off guard, but it seemed like the first hour and a half was pretty slow going, very rocky. The last 2/3 of it really kind of turned into a hard pack gravel, and we made pretty good time for the last bit. So we just saw a sign of Lake City. another picture we will insert here. Images like this just fascinate me. There's water running down, really steep. Then we get down here and it flows right under the snow, and I'm sure it keeps going down that way. So pretty. We have passed 4 or 5 of these since my last one, but this one's especially cool. Just lots of water flow. Waterfall right there. Just stunning. We're driving by and noticed this fire pit. Stopped and took a look, and we think this will work for camping for the night. It's not perfect, but overall this will not be a bad view to wake up to. I am told that roasted starbursts are a camping necessity. I have never had it. I consider myself a seasoned camper, but apparently I have been missing out.
It's a girls' camp tradition.
That may be why I've not had it. So, I am being initiated here. I've got a yellow starburst. I figured that would probably be the grossest one, so from there it can only get better. And here we go. You're going to have to tell me when this is properly roasted.
I will.
Okay, where do I put it? In the flame right here?
Wherever you want.
Like a marshmallow?
Yep, like a marshmallow.
Smoking it. Trying to get it in the flame. There we go. Okay, I'm seeing bubbles.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're probably... Alright, you're there.
Alright, then I'm supposed to let it cool.
Because it's hot.
I see caramelized sugar, and that's about it.
Which is the best.
Okay, am I ready?
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. I'll do some more. I don't know that I go out of my way to do it.
But it's a good camping tradition.
It basically, it almost turns it into a giant Skittle that puts kind of a
Hard shell on
the
it.
outside. But it's warm and gooey and soft. The yellow one wasn't bad. Let's try another color. Tonight, chicken and rice. And this rice in particular came out so good. Dinner was generally a success. My wife and I both agreed the rice was very good. The chicken was cooked all the way through. It was very edible. But we think we can make this one better by next time cutting the chicken up instead of cooking it as full breasts. Kind of cube it. We could enhance it by adding some spice to the chicken. Give it just a little bit of flavor. It was a little bland. We both agreed on that. But generally a good dinner and a really easy camping dinner to make. but windy beyond belief. It is the 7th of July, and I'll bet it is 50 degrees here at the
Let's go that way. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming this way. Okay, now go that way.
We are just waiting for a couple people to pass, and we stopped at Mineral Forks for lunch. It was a delightful area and place. The bathroom was closed, which was unfortunate, but so it goes. Between Mineral Forks and now, which we're not too far, I don't think, from Highway 550, just outside of, just south of Ouray. It has been pretty gnarly. If I hadn't been on this road before, going the other way, I would be questioning some of my life choices. But I have done it the other way with not near as much protection as I've got now, so I'm making it. The wife has had to spot me a couple times and has had to close her eyes a couple of times, which she didn't have to do over Engineer Pass. So that gives you an idea of kind of what we're going through. So there's some kind of intense stuff through here, but it's fun. It's fun. We're surviving. We've stopped at the Michael Breen mine, which is labeled a restoration project. Don't know how much restoration's really going on. Looks the same as when I was here 3 years ago. But yeah, a little bit of history here. We mostly stopped because we needed to decompress after some of the intenseness that we just experienced. The wife spotted this young adolescent moose just hanging out down by the water, looking at us, looking at him. We made it back to the 550 highway, and we're back on hard ground going into Ouray. And that pretty much concludes this adventure from here. It's a 6-7 hour drive home. I had a great time, great scenery, saw some new stuff, visited some familiar places, some spectacular scenery. Hun, what's your opinion?
I loved it.
She loved it. Would you do it again?
Yes.
Even the spot where you had to close your eyes?
Yes.
There you have it.
Minus the injury.
Minus the injury, we do have a bruised toe. Miscommunication between the two of us packing up on yesterday, but she'll survive. And with that, I'm going to sign out. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you liked it, do me a favor and give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content like this, put a comment down and we will see you on the next one. While making the finishing edits to this video, I received some information that I feel compelled to pass on. My wife was relaying some of our adventure to one of her co-workers who happened to grow up in the southwest Colorado area, and he educated us that the local pronunciation is Ouray, not Ouray. Now, in my defense, I have taken that pronunciation from multiple videos I have watched that all pronounce it Ouray, and some of those have been by residents of Colorado. However, those residents were not of the region we were in. I have heard Ouray from other people, but the vast majority say Ouray, and that's what I opted to go with. Just testimony that the majority is not always right. So, henceforth, I will strive to pronounce this correctly, fighting a incorrect habit, and so I will try to call it Ouray going forward. And really what this brings to mind is that I think every state has those little nuances that when you hear somebody come in and pronounce something wrong, you instinctively think they're not from around here. I have been on both sides of that. This is about the 4th time I have been on the other side, where I've had to be educated on proper pronunciation. Utah, where I currently reside, has a couple famous examples, such as Tooele, which is spelled this way, and you would probably not think Tooele if you were to read that without any background on it. Another one in Utah, near where I live, is this one. Any guesses how you'd say this? It is Manaway. Now that brings up a whole nother pet peeve of mine, which is Utahns and their selective lazy speak, dropping their T. So it really should be Mantaway, not Manaway. The T is not silent. But that is something for another discussion. Where I grew up in southeast Idaho, we have some world famous hot pools that people come to visit, and they always pronounce it lava, as in molten lava. Lava hot springs. But locally, we call it lava. Lava hot springs. Same with the state of Nevada. They call it Nevada. Most people who haven't spent any time there call it Nevada. And that brings up a really funny anecdote that I will leave off with. I have a cousin that is the epitome of a one-upper. Every story you tell, he's got one better. Every person you've met, he's met someone more famous or more important. Every adventure you've had, he's had one better. When we were growing up, his dad had a job working with an oil company in Saudi Arabia, so he spent a lot of time in Saudi Arabia, and he would come visit us every summer and tell these really outlandish stories, like they would go out on the desert and find landmines and take the detonator out and play frisbee with them. Whatever. Anyway, we were at a cousin's wedding a couple years ago, and he was making fun of my humble homeschool education. And I can handle a little bit of needling, that's fine. I understand the stereotypes, but he was being particularly nasty on this day and kind of hitting below the belt and making it very clear that his high-priced private school education was far superior and that I was basically just a dumb hick. We ended up sitting at the table with some relatives from the groom's other side, and they are from Henderson, Nevada. And he was talking about Nevada, and every time he said it, they snickered a little bit. And finally, he was like, what is so funny? Every time I say Nevada, you laugh a little bit. And they're like, that's because it's pronounced Nevada. He said, oh, well, at such and such private school I attended, they taught me that it is Nevada. And the mom said, well, we're from there, so we know how it's said, and it's Nevada. And the son said, sounds like you got overcharged for your high-priced private education. And then he looked at me and kind of gave me a little smirk, like, and that look of, I just burned him for you, I got your back. And that was, this cousin in question had no response to that, other than to be appalled that he had been misled in his education. Anyway, it's one of my fondest memories of seeing this cousin who thinks he knows everything get burned properly. And with that said, I'm going to cue the final montage. I want to thank you for watching. If you'd like to see more adventures like this, let me know in the comments. Click the like button. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. And I hope to see you on the next one.